Hello everybody, and welcome back to Gaskin Points. Today we have a review of a very interesting bottle with a very complicated backstory. This is rare character Brook Hill's Whiskey Wiseman. So if you're not familiar with rare character Brook Hill, rare character obviously a non-distilling producer that I've been a big fan of. They actually take up this entire top shelf here with some of their best offerings, TKO, KOA. I've been a fan of so much of it, and Brook Hill is meant to be their best bottling. When they're buying thousands of barrels a year at this point, the best 20, 30, 40, 50 bottles are going under their Brook Hill label. They sell them between $200 and $300 typically, and they're just stellar. Two of the best bottles that I rated here on the channel, rare character Brook Hill, Doom and Daryl Proof, both hazmat wheated bourbons, both received a rating of a 9.1. So really serious stuff here. And so this is another hazmat Brook Hill, and it's called Whiskey Wiseman. So this story starts about 3 weeks ago when this bottle was sold on Bourbon Outfitter for $600. So $600 is by no means cheap for any bottle, and this definitely caused a little bit of controversy, but the idea was, and I ended up getting to speak with Ryan very briefly about this, who runs Bourbon Outfitter. He told me that there was no reason why they felt that other people should be able to flip this bottle and make so much money off of it. Instead, they wanted to make the money themselves, which, if I have to decide who makes the money between a flipper and the people that are running these businesses, I will usually side with the people running the businesses, so I kind of get why they sold it for $600, and obviously it sold out, so people were glad to spend that money on this bottle. But that definitely caused a little bit of controversy because it's a 9-year bottle, and all of the 8, 9, and 10-year Brook Hills that have been released have all retailed at $200, $300. The only ones that have retailed for more were the 15 years that all retailed at $600. So when a 9-year was retailing at $600, people didn't really love it, but people still paid for it. People still bought the bottle. The barrel still sold out relatively easily, and so now we have Whiskey Wiseman. However, when the bottle ended up showing on people's doorsteps, it ended up saying it was 139.4 proof. Now, when it sold on the website, it said 140.58. And so it seems like the bottling company that ended up doing the labels for this and writing all those labels had used an old proof. Apparently, at some point, this barrel was 139.4. That is what they were told. That's what they wrote. But ultimately, it actually was 140.58. And they went and they tested it. And so Ryan ended up sending a nice, kind email basically saying, look, we messed up. What we're going to do is we're going to send you guys stickers. And so they sent us these stickers here that say WW Whiskey Wiseman and then have the proper proof of 140.58 written on it. And so let me know down below in the comments what you guys think of the sticker itself. I think it looks okay. I don't mind it. I mean, I kind of attached a little bit crooked here and I can't really fix it, which is a little bit annoying, but oh well. I think it looks pretty cool. But this definitely caused, again, even more controversy for a bottle that was already controversial at $600. And then ultimately, a lot of people thought that it was originally Heaven Hill juice, which would have given it quite the premium. But then when people tried it, they thought it was Barton. And so today we're going to review this. We're going to talk about it. We're going to see what it really is. And I'll share some of my opinions throughout the course of this video as to what I think should have happened with this. But that's the story. That now you guys know everything that's gone on with this bottle. Really a crazy story. And I think the stickers do make it look pretty cool. But ultimately, I mean, it's all about how good the juice really is. So let's try the juice. On the nose here, there's a lot of rich oak. There's definitely some really strong cherry in this one as well. A little bit of ethanol heat. Definitely feeling the hazmat on this one. Some vanilla on this. The oak is very reminiscent of 1792 12 year. So to me, this does smell like Barton. Heaven Hill has a very distinct oak note that's usually pretty easily to pick up. So to me, I don't think this is Heaven Hill. But overall, it smells solid. Let's try it. Interesting. It's hot. There's definitely a lot going on there. Really rich oak in the beginning of the palate. And then it really, through that mid-palate, gets into a ton of cherry. Really rich cherry sweetness on there. A mix of like a cherry candy and even some maraschino cherry on there. Different kinds of cherry. And then towards the late palate, you end up getting into this pear, which is really funky. I don't typically get pear on my whiskeys unless something was finished in like a pear brandy, something like that. But obviously this wasn't finished in anything, I don't think. And this is really funky. That finish is about medium length here, very rich, very explosive as well, really getting a lot of proof on that one, definitely tasting, I mean, maybe not hazmat, but it's up there, it's definitely drinking pretty hot. It's good, it's very good. Is it $600 good? Let's take a second sip. But it is good. Oh yeah, I like that a lot. Very, very good. I don't think it's worth $600, but I think you guys knew in the beginning of this video, I wasn't going to say that this is worth $600. To me, I think this is a Barton barrel. I think it tastes very reminiscent of the KOAs, and I've tried over 30 KOAs at this point, so I think I know what the Barton oak tastes like. 1792 full proof, if you had that, you've had that kind of Barton funky oak to it. I think that's all over the nose on this one. There's even like a little bit of peanut on this one as well, which I kind of get out of Barton products, and I've definitely gotten out of KOAs. So I do think that this probably wasn't a KOA barrel per se, but it was probably a 74-18-8 Barton, which I think was what Brook Hill Sunshine was, what Brook Hill Pixelated was, and I think we've had a lot of Brook Hills that were Barton, and a lot of Rare Character has been Barton. Apparently they have an amazing relationship with Barton, and look, it's good Barton. But man, there's a lot of Rare Character Barton. I think all the KOAs are Barton. I think most of the Brook Hills are Barton. And somehow, all these rumors keep saying they're Heaven Hill, they're all these funny things, and then they're just always Barton. So I think it's a little bit disappointing for $600. It's a very solid pour, but I do want to share what I think I would have done in this situation. What I think Bourbon Outfitters should have done it originally, what I think they should have done when the proof was messed up, because I like to share my opinion. I mean, I have a YouTube channel really just to share my opinion, and for those that have stayed this long, let's get into it a little bit. So, for one, I think the sticker was fine. I think the 139.4 was definitely a mess up, but they've definitely ensured us that this is, in fact, a hazmat bottle. And look, now I have a cool sticker here, and when we put it here up on the shelf, you guys will definitely notice the fact that it is its own unique bottle. I think the sticker's fine. I think that definitely made up for the fact that the proof was messed up. Now, on the bottle being $600 itself, I'll be honest, I think this bottle should have been sold closer to $400, and let me tell you why. So I'm relatively familiar with the Rare Character secondary market, for better or for worse, and clearly the Brook Hill market is going down. I think a lot of bottles that were selling for $800-900 a few months ago are now commanding much closer to $600 or $700, and I think the secondary market on this bottle is naturally going to stay around $700 or $750 because people will never lose money on a Brook Hill bottle. They refuse to lose that kind of money. I think it's the same reason why we're seeing the Brook Hill 15 years also go for $700 or $800 right now, even though most people agree that they're not worth anywhere near that. It's just that the people that have them and paid $600 for them refuse to give them up for any sort of loss. And this is pretty typical on secondary markets. I think this is kind of what's going on with this bottle here. I think based off the fact that Travelers, which is a bottle that used to command upwards of $900 and is now down to about $650, I think if this bottle was sold at $400, its secondary market would have been about $550. Whereas I think now that this bottle was sold at $600, its secondary is going to be $700 to $750. I think the difference there would have stayed around the same if the MSRP was about $200 lower. However, at $400, I think a lot more people would have drank the bottle. I think a lot of people buy these bottles and kind of decide to flip or do funky things or share them or whatnot, because it's not that easy to justify cracking and enjoying a $600 bottle of whiskey, especially when reviews on it aren't going to be particularly positive, whereas I think a $300-400 bottle is much easier to justify. So I think charging $600 for this, while it definitely got Bourbon Outfitter the money that I think they do rightfully deserve with a lot of these products, I do think it ended up leading to even more flipping, because I think more people bought that bottle thinking they weren't going to drink it at $600, and that difference that they would have made by flipping it would have been the same if it was sold at $400, except at $400 you would have had a lot more people that would have bought it and drank it at $400 instead of deciding to flip it, but the profit was going to be $100 to $150 anyways. Anyways, that's one man's opinion. That's my secondary market analysis of it. That's what I think should have been done with the bottle, regardless of the proof. I mean, this is just my concern with the fact that the bottle was sold at $600. But look, I'm a consumer. I paid $600. I cracked my bottle. I enjoyed it here with you guys. I think it's all. I'll take this third and final sip here and give it a rating, but I really wanted to do this video just to talk about this whiskey, just to talk about what I think should have been done with this whiskey. But let me know down below in the comments what you guys think. Look, I can really see it from both ways, and I can understand if people think different things should have been done here, but I'm open ears. I want to hear what you guys think. That's my opinion. Let's take this third sip. The juice is good. It's an 8.4. I think it's on par with like Rare Character KOA Smoke Break. Maybe slightly better because I do really like the cherry in it. I don't think it's competing with Just Bottles. I don't think it's competing with Beverage King here. I think it's very solid. I think it's worth 250 bucks. I wouldn't have paid 600 for it if I had tried it beforehand. But anyways, I'm glad I got to share it here with you guys. Let me know down below in the comments, like I said, all your thoughts with this bottle and its complexity. Look, I like Rare Character a lot. I talk very positively about Rare Character, so I think that gives me the right sometimes to critique little things here and there. But anyways, I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.